Hello and welcome. My name's Hollywood Joe Tussing, and today we are going to take a look at the lines for UFC Fight Night, Edson Barboza versus Kevin Lee. So, to start off the card, at least the main card, we have Jim Miller taking on Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker coming in minus 345 to Jim Miller's plus 265. This is my money fight of the night. I'm going with Jim Miller, 28-11. He is riding a 3-fight losing streak. Those losses coming to Francisco Trinaldo, Anthony Pettis, and Dustin Poirier. Hooker is coming off of 2 wins. Most recently, Mark Jacasey, he defeated by guillotine, as well as Ross Pearson, who he knocked out in the second round. But Jim Miller, a legend in the UFC, he's been around for 10 years, fought everybody that you can think of, wins over Joe Lozon and Takanori Gomi, Danny Castillo. I just can't bet against a guy who is as decorated on the ground as Jim Miller is and as gritty as he can be. But that's going to be the question in this fight, which Jim Miller shows up. If old school Jim Miller, super gritty Jim Miller shows up, that's who I'm going with. I'm going with the dog on this one, but hopefully that's what we get. Sometimes it seems that he shows up for a paycheck, and that would make it an easy night for Dan Hooker. Second fight of the night, we have Aljamain Sterling taking on Brent Jhons, the Pikey. So, Brent Jhons, 15-0, takes on Aljamain Sterling. I think he's 14-3. It's pretty much a pick'em fight, 103 to 115 or so, and I'm pretty much in the same boat. Both guys are super exciting, very dynamic on their feet and on the ground. They both have about 50% submissions in their career, a couple knockouts, a couple decisions, but they always come to fight and they always come to put on a show. I really can't pick either side on this one. Gun to my head, I would have to go with the 15-0 Pikey, but I'm not throwing any money down on this one. So, third fight of the night, we have David Branch taking on Thiago Santos. Thiago Santos coming in minus 190. He's 17-5, taking on the former World Series of Fighting middleweight champion, David Branch, 21-4. He's coming in as the dog, plus 165, and he's who I'm going with in this fight. David Branch is a crafty veteran. He's fought guys like Rumble Johnson who have extreme power, something that Thiago Santos brings. So I don't think he's really too worried about the power factor, but he is far more crafty on the ground. He's far more experienced than Thiago Santos is, and I think that's going to make the difference in this fight. His movement on the feet, his ability to take the fight where he wants it to go, I think will really make the difference in this fight. I'm going with David Branch by 3-round decision. In our fourth fight on the main card, we have Chase Sherman taking on Justin Willis. Pretty boy Willis coming in at about minus 345 against the Vanilla Gorilla. Justin Willis is 6-1, has serious power in his hands, taking on 11-4, the Vanilla Gorilla, who also has a lot of power, but he has a tendency to stick his chin in the air. And I think that's going to be his undoing in this fight. I think Willis will be able to touch that chin in the first round with an overhand and put the Vanilla Gorilla away with the quickness. So I'm going with the favorite, minus 345. Willis gets my vote, and we move on to the co-main event. In our co-main event of the night, we have Frankie Edgar taking on Cub Swanson. Frankie Edgar coming in as the favorite, minus 220 to Cub Swanson's plus 170. Both these guys have fought before. 5th round submission for Frankie Edgar. Both men are coming off of losses to the same fighter, Brian Ortega. Frankie Edgar knocked out by Brian Ortega. Cub Swanson submitted by Brian Ortega. So this is a very interesting fight. Frankie Edgar has been in a lot of wars in his career, and this was the first time that we saw him get knocked out. I don't like it that he's getting right back in there and fighting this quickly. I think he should take some time, and I think that's going to make the decision or make the difference in this one. Cub Swanson, it's been a long time since he had a knockout, but I think this will be the fight that he gets his first KO in some time. I'm going with Cub Swanson by second round knockout. I've got to go with the dog on this one. Cub Swanson has looked spectacular, barring his fight with Brian Ortega, but he really was on a tear, and I want to see him get back in that winning way. So I'm going with Cub Swanson by second round knockout. And in our main event of the night, we have Kevin Lee taking on Edson Barboza. Kevin Lee coming in as the favorite over Edson Barboza. Barboza most recently just getting destroyed by Khabib Nurmagomedov, and he gets stuck in there with another grappler. Although Kevin Lee isn't on the same level of grappling as Khabib is, he is a very good wrestler. Kevin Lee coming off of a loss to Tony Ferguson in their interim title bout. He looked very good against Ferguson, but I think the staph infection really affected him as the fight went on, and he just couldn't keep the pace. In this fight, I expect Kevin Lee to really look to take the fight to the ground, try to ground and pound, and get the back of Edson Barboza to finish the fight by RNC. I expect Edson Barboza to come out throwing really hard body kicks, really trying to work the legs. He's supposed to be very difficult to take down, so it'll be interesting to see if Kevin Lee is able to impose his will and get Barboza to the ground. I'm going to go with Kevin Lee on this one just because he is a very good wrestler, and with the amount of pressure that he brings, I don't think that Barboza will be able to get started with his kicks and his combos. So I'm going with the favorite in the main event, Kevin Lee, by 5-round decision. Thanks for watching, guys. If you take a look down in the description, you'll find links to other Bellator and UFC card breakdowns and recaps. I appreciate you guys watching. Like and subscribe. Click the bell button for notifications. I will see you soon.